Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the infotainment breakdown on the Ford F-150 and its 12-inch infotainment display here in this XLT model. In this video we're going to show you how the center gauge screen works, how the big touchscreen in the center works. We're going to take a look at how to pair phone, see what Android Auto and Apple CarPlay look like here in the truck, and try to answer any questions you might have. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. This is an XLT Heritage model, and it's going to honk because the key's not in it. The vehicle's still on. I think it looks quite sharp, and this has actually been one of my favorite full-size trucks to drive around. It's remarkably powerful, quiet, and just nice to be in. But I will say all that comes at a price. This one you're looking at just a hair under $70,000. So if you do want to see more on the truck, check the link in the description. We've got a fuel economy test, sound system review, and a full review. I'll link all of those below. Starting right in front of us here, we've got a traditional gauge cluster with a digital information screen in the middle. You can see up on the top, you're getting engine temp, oil temp, transmission temp, and a fuel gauge. This one's got the optional 36-gallon fuel tank, so it takes a long time for that fuel gauge to tick itself down. And then below you have a customizable screen, and at the very bottom you've got your odometer, the gear you're in, and your mileage to empty down on the right. And you'll always have a persistent digital speed right there in the middle also, if you don't care to be looking at the analog gauge. It's that middle section where it says Trip 1 that we can customize. We use the right side of the steering wheel here for that. We're in the My View screen. So if I press menu right now, that's giving me this main menu of different sort of categories of screens you can be looking at. So My View is pretty customizable. Then you've got a trip and fuel screen, truck info, towing, navigation, phone, audio, and settings. Let's go through those. In My View right now, we've got a Trip 1. It's pretty straightforward. Shows you the distance traveled, your miles per gallon over that distance, and the time since it was reset. Tire pressure, the radio station that you have chosen, or rather what media is playing. A configurable screen, so if I pressed OK, I could choose which screens I wanted to be included on this My View. And then we've got fuel economy. If I go back, then we can go down to Trip and Fuel. This is going to give you, again, that fuel economy, Trip 1, Trip 2, and an Eco Coach. So that's actually going to tell you if you're driving economically or not. Then you can see, again, our fuel economy, Trip 1 and Trip 2. Going back, again, to that main menu, we've got the Truck Info section. That's giving you your tire pressure, off-road screen, so it's showing you your pitch and yaw angles as well as steering angle. Power distribution, which wheels are on the truck are getting which amount of power. Engine information, how much oil life you've got left before you should change it, how many hours the engine's been running, and how long it's been idling, and who has their seatbelts on around the truck. Below truck info, we've got a towing screen. If I were doing any sort of towing, I'd have information about the trailer that was connected. Can I do anything with the trailer brake here? No. Towing status, and lights and tire info on the trailer. Navigation, I could choose that and set a destination or see what directions are coming up. Phone, same thing right here. I could view my calls or make a call right here without having to take my hands off the wheel. Same with audio. I can choose which audio input I'm listening to. And then in settings, this is how you're going to customize the gauges. If you hit swap gauge position, then that's flip-flopping your trans temp and your oil temp apparently. And then you can actually select which gauges are up there. You can get, oh, it was actually oil pressure, not oil temperature that was on there before. We get oil pressure, transmission oil temp, that's already on there. Turbo boost, let's put that on there, that's kind of cool. And same thing with the right gauge, so just a few options there. Speedometer in kilometers per hour, that's how you toggle that. Border crossing, what does that do? Oh, a reminder if you're going to be crossing a border, that's kind of cool. Neutral tow, if you needed to flat tow the vehicle, you could enable that there. And then if you needed to reset your vehicle maintenance, that's how you do it from the settings screen. Nice straightforward screen there, and I like the look with the traditional gauges. Now, making our way into the center. As I understand it, all XLT models are given this larger Sync 4 infotainment screen. If you get an XL, you're getting a more basic infotainment touchscreen, but this one looks nice. It's built nicely into the dash. It's not my favorite full-size truck infotainment. In fact, I think the General Motors Android Automotive-based system is much better than this. I also like the Toyota system, even though it's a bit simpler. I think it's easier to use than Sync 4, and I think Uconnect is easier to use as well. We're going to just ignore the Nissan Titan for now because it has been discontinued. But you do have a lot of physical controls around the screen, which I appreciate over the larger screen for the F-150. I do prefer this one over that big one. You have physical controls up here for your 360 camera. You can see if I press that, then you're seeing around the truck. Parking beepers on and off, traction control, and hazard lights. And then down below, you've got your volume and track controls, as well as physical controls for the HVAC. Sync 4 is a very busy system. That's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of it. It kind of takes a while and requires a lot of eye and finger work to navigate all around, but it is surmountable. On this top persistent menu, we're getting the temperature that you have your climate control set at, so both the driver and passenger side is on low right now. You have a clock next to that and your outside temperature. Regardless of what screen you have going on in the middle, you're always going to have that top list. You could also press this here and see which phones are connected to the system. Right now I've got my S23 Ultra and my iPhone 13 mini connected. There's no sort of home screen, you just have this bottom persistent menu as well, and that's how you toggle back and forth between kind of main screens that are used. So right now we're in navigation, but we're going to go all the way to the left here on the audio screen. You can see we are in FM radio right now. If we press sources, then you see our AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth, and Android Auto connected. See, I wish the buttons around the system had a higher contrast. You can't really see the outline very well on the sources button and this direct tune button. It could all be a little easier on your eyes and easier for your brain to differentiate things if there was a sharper contrast between all of the controls. You've got favorites right here that you can set. So if I wanted to go straight to watercolors on Sirius XM, for example, press that, and there we are, Sirius XM 66 watercolors. Moving along down the bottom menu screen, we're going to skip over Android Auto for now and go to our navigation. Same thing, not a lot of contrast with the streets around here and the street names. But if you wanted to search for something, you can put it in there. Let's say STAR, do we get Starbucks? There we go, Starbucks, hot word right there. Search for Starbucks. Come on. Again, you're kind of seeing how long it takes, but there we go. It's giving us some Starbucks options. I really think with having wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, most people are just going to utilize that, but it is functional, and it's nice to just have it as a map option. Now, if you don't want it to take up the full screen, you can press this button over here on the right, and then you get a 2/3 split setup. It's almost more of like a 3/5 split, and you get your media on the right side. So you have some map going and some media over there, and you can actually press this to flip-flop those. Now you've got majority of the screen taken up by your media and a small navigation. Continuing on down this bottom menu, this is actually a configurable button. So if you hold down, it gives you an options for your favorite. You've got things like your phone list, text messaging, audio sources, towing. If you're someone who tows a lot, you might want to have that on there. I have it set right now for sound settings, but there are a lot of different things you can choose to have. Making our way over, we've got apps. Now right now, all it lists is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. If you click Find Mobile Apps, it'll search your phone for compatible applications. I'm going to be honest, spending only a week in each Ford product, I've never installed more sync applications to my device. I really think this is an outdated way of having apps on your touchscreen. I think using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto or having built-in applications is much more intuitive. Then let's skip over settings for a moment, go over here to features. This is going to be a quick menu for more of the interesting features that Ford thinks you might be using regularly. Things like Pro Power on board, providing 240 volt power back there, generator mode here. Towing, that's going to give you a really nice screen for a checklist if you're hooking up a trailer. So it's also going to be how you set up the Pro Trailer Backup Assist that this truck is equipped with, or the Smart Scales. I think those are all pretty nice. Actually, that's down here in this Smart Hitch and Onboard Scales. It's a really cool feature that Ford has that I think would be a very nice thing if you're going to be able to tow regularly. You can actually see how much weight is on the ball hitch back there and how heavy it is, and if you need to shift your load around on the trailer. I think that's really smart. I would absolutely pay for that being on a full-size truck like this. You can also get to an owner's manual from this screen, so you can search up if you're not 100% sure on how to use something. The owner's manual might have information for you. Let's head into settings. We're not going to go into every nitty-gritty setting detail, but things that are important. This is how you're going to see how to adjust your sound settings. We went through that in the audio system breakdown. Under vehicle settings, you have a setting for if you want it to shut off after idling for 30 minutes, a rear occupant alert, so if you want it to warn you when you might have left something like a baby in the back of your truck. My Key, this is how you're going to create different keys for the vehicle. The dealer will probably take care of that for you. Remote start setup. So when you remote start the vehicle, do you want the climate control to come on? Do you want the heated seats to come on? Do you even want remote start to work in general? That's where you set that up. Under wipers, this is how you're going to turn on your auto rain sensing wipers if you're a fan of those. In lighting, we have auto high beams. Some people like that, some people don't. Daytime running lamps, I don't know why you'd turn those off. Maybe you want to go night riding or something, but definitely useful to have those on. Welcome lighting, so as you walk up to the truck, the lights come on. I like having that. And how long your headlamps are going to stay on after you leave the truck. I like that as well. Under locks, this is going to have a few nifty settings for you. This is going to be if you lock the truck, do you want it to honk for you when you walk up to it? Do you want it to auto unlock when you put your hand in the door, or do you want to have to do it manually? And when you do remote unlock it with your key, do you want it to do just the driver's door or all the doors? And then lastly, this door keypad code. This is definitely nice for if you put in the factory code, then you can set a custom code for that outside door pad. I love having that on Ford vehicles. Then going back to the main settings screen, you see clock. This is how you're going to set up if you want a 24-hour clock or if you want to manually set your clock time. You can do that there. I recommend just leaving it with auto time update. Then if you go to different time zones or daylight savings time happens, it's going to update the clock for you. But maybe you're someone who likes to set your clock forward a few minutes. You could do that from there. In the general settings, that's how you're going to change your language. We've got English, French, and Spanish. Temperature units, if you'd rather have Celsius, you got that there. Same with measurement units for miles and MPG. You can adjust those. Same with tire pressure. Touchscreen beep. If you have this on, then it's going to beep every time you touch it. I find the beep to be a little too loud, and I like having that off. Then if you need to reset your system, say you're selling your vehicle, you want everything to come back to stock, or your system's acting weird, you can reset it right there. Back into the settings screen, then we move over to display. This is how you're going to turn your display off if you're maybe driving at night. You don't want that light glaring at you. You're going to do that right there. Just tap it to turn it back on. You also have an option for a calm screen. That's just going to show you your time and date, as well as some of the information up on the top, like outside temperature. Same thing, tap it to resume. You can adjust your brightness right here. I should have had that all the way up for the start of this test. Actually, it is all the way up. That's kind of deceiving that only halfway is all the way. I don't quite know why that is. And then mode right here, this is actually going to blast us with a white screen now. Once it finally switches over. There we go. Probably a little bit easier to see on camera. You can leave that on auto, and then once it becomes dark outside, it'll switch over to night. This, I admit, is a little bit harder on your eyes, but I'll leave it on the white screen for the rest of this test. Maybe now I can jump that brightness all the way up. Nope, still can't. Very silly. Swiping over, you get connectivity. Now this is going to be how you turn your Bluetooth on or off if you wanted to have that off there. You could also change the name of the vehicle for Bluetooth if you wanted to. You can also connect to Wi-Fi networks in order to do system updates. You do that from there. Next screen is the vehicle hotspot. So this vehicle has a hotspot built in if you wanted to provide data for some of your work devices or personal devices, or maybe kids' tablets in the back. You could have them do the hotspot from there. Mobile apps, that's going to help you set things up on your phone. Again, a feature I have never used. Software updates right there. Again, if you're connected to Wi-Fi, you could try updating your system to get an update through there. Ford Assistant, this is going to be the voice assistant. You can have it optionally listen for this right here, okay blank brand word. We're going to test that out here in a moment. Or you can change your wake word to all those different 4 options. Hello Ford, okay Ford Pass, Ford Sync. That's funny. Advanced mode, all right. We're going to turn advanced mode on so it gives us fewer prompts when we're doing the voice commands. And it'll give you some extra information if you want to see what commands you can use. Valet mode is the last one we're going to look at here. If you put in a pin, then you can enable valet mode. That's going to disable some of the features of the truck, probably keep it from going over a certain speed as well, so valets can't take it for a joyride. Okay, let's go back to the navigation and test out some of the voice commands here with Sync 4. Okay, Ford, navigate to Starbucks.
Please choose
1.
starting route to Starbucks.
Okay, that was pretty straightforward.
Obey traffic laws. Be alert and use voice commands while driving.
Yeah, we get it.
In 450
Okay.
feet, make a U-turn
Okay, Ford.
if possible.
Cancel navigation.
Canceling route.
Okay, Ford, What's the weather like tomorrow?
Please try again.
Okay. Set the temperature to 61 degrees. That works pretty well. Okay, all right. That's how you can do your voice commands. You can also just press on the steering wheel to get to the voice command button. Now let's head over to Android Auto. We've already got our Android Auto device wirelessly connected. And you see here, you've got Google Maps, kind of, again, as this 2/3 display, and then whatever audio you're listening to as your 1/3 display. Right now I've got Google Podcasts up there. Taking a look at Android Auto, or taking a look at the Google Maps, rather. If we click into that, you get more of a full screen, moving around. Good refresh rate. Pinch to zoom working well there also. Let's bring it on back to the home screen, scroll down, and get YouTube Music. All right, what's YouTube Music giving us for our Super Mix today? Linkin Park, Pushing Me Away. Not bad, not bad. And let's take one quick look at your dialer as well. There you are. Okay, let's show you how to pair up an iPhone. I'm going to bring the iPhone here into the Bluetooth settings menu. And I'm going to go to settings, come up here to phone list. I'm going to hit add phone.
Search for your vehicle on your device
and it pops up here on the
once it is
iPhone,
found.
Ford F-150.
Confirm that the pin
Press
displayed
pair
on sync
on both
matches the pin
devices.
displayed on your device.
Allow everything that the iPhone prompts. And it's going to ask me to allow
For
wireless
your safety,
CarPlay.
please stay.
And there we've got it, CarPlay coming up. And I gotta say, it does not look as good as Android Automotive did. It's a very weird resolution. Let's at least bring it, can we bring it full screen? Oh, you cannot. Oh, that's weird. I don't know if it's a dated version of CarPlay I have or something or what, but that, not looking as good, not taking up as much of the screen. But let's bring up our Google Maps. Is it not letting us pan around? Not letting us drag around. Not letting us pinch to zoom. Let's bring up YouTube Music. Let's get our super mix going on here. What's the iPhone feeling today? Some Seether. Remedy by Seether. All right. And one last look at the dialer here. Okay, there you have it. There is Sync 4 here on the F-150. Like I said, I don't find it to be the most intuitive system or the nicest to use, but it is functional. The screen does have a good resolution. Definitely fine for this XLT trim. If there's anything I missed that you'd like to know, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer. But other than that, I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.